What's up, guys and gals? It's Edvin here. Welcome back to another Edvin's Evaluation, where I give the evaluations to follow. Today, we're imagining ourselves in the middle of a crowd in a theater, watching a movie on the big screen, with our friends next to us. You won't be able to guess what we're viewing. Oh wait, you read the title. Today, I am going over If, the imaginary friend movie that was released a month ago. Before we join my imaginary friend to evaluate this movie, let me go over a couple things about it first. If was released on May 17th, 2024. It was directed by John Krasinski and produced by Sunday Night Productions and Maximum Effort. It was distributed by Paramount Pictures. It is rated PG and is a family movie about imaginary friends. Now it's time for you to meet my imaginary friend, who will be accompanying me throughout this evaluation. His name is Zeb, version 1.0. I actually made him in my room right here, right before this vid, bringing my imaginary friend to life. Come on, guy, don't be shy. We love you. There he is. Say hi to the viewers. He's happy. Let's get to the viewing, eh, bud? To start, we have the acting and voice acting in this movie. It's pretty okay. The main characters are very well acted. Yeah, but just like Zeb is trying to say here, the side characters range from decent to bad. It doesn't help that they don't get much screen time. Anyways, on to the next part of this evaluation. That is the look for its time, which looks amazing, as most movies do nowadays. There are a couple parts of it that felt weird to me, but it was very far apart from the others. I had nothing much else to say. Have anything to say, Zeb? Oh yeah, the look for its time really shines during the hospital scene in the movie. I can't say when or where, but there is a certain hospital scene with imaginary friends. Yeah, Zeb, now it's time to move on to creativity, which honestly is a bit low in this movie. Don't get me wrong, all the different imaginary friend designs are super creative, but the imaginary friend comes to life plotline has been done before, namely in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Heck, they also had a character named Blue, but it was spelled differently. In my opinion, Foster's Home did it better, but obviously the creativity isn't too bad in this movie. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention some uncreative stuff, like the start and the end of the movie, which I won't spoil, so you'll need to watch it to see what I mean. Speaking of uncreative, we're on to storytelling, which is just basic, bland, boring. The whole plot is loosely tied together. It feels like it starts and stops way too much, and they barely, even if ever, put much time into the story, causing it to feel all over the place. Yeah, he also seemed to bring up the backstory of the imaginary friends, which we get really none of, despite them actually saying a bunch about their kid off screen. We never hear about it really, which makes the movie more empty. We're moving on to the characters now, which range from amazing or good to why do they exist or even get lines, or get voiced by a talented person. I am going to name every character that is noticed on the wiki. Fair warning that it's a long list. Let me just start with the main characters. Those characters are Bee, Cal, Blue, and Blossom. Bee, Cal, and Blossom are the most developed by the end of the movie. Blue gets a bit of screen time and is important in his own way. Yet sadly he wasn't super important to the movie, in my opinion. Okay, held off long enough. I need to go over every single character, as all were given names or even posters, despite some of them just having one line, and most being completely flat as characters. I'm going to start with the regular characters, then go into imaginary friends. Here we go. Bee's dad, rarely on screen, and is supposed to drive the plot. Margaret, Bee's grandma, given a bit of backstory and is very sweet and trying her best. Benjamin, he's in the hospital for 95% of the movie. Janet, next to no lines and adds nothing to the plot. Jeremy, barely anything happens with him. Bee's mom died off screen, I think. Now finally to the imaginary friends. Lewis, the teddy bear. Bubble, literally just bubbles. Unicorn, Uni, it's the name. Spaceman, it's the name. Ice, it's the flower. Banana, these aren't even imaginary art teacher. One mannequin. Slime, and my marshmallow, I want to melt. Octopus, a cat in an octopus costume. Viola, ah! Magician mouse, ah! Cosmo, cloak and dagger. Ghost, let me disappear. Guardian dog, superhero dog. Alligator, it's just a pink alligator. Gummy bear, I will bite your head off. Robot, beep boop, die. And Keith, he's just invisible. Sorry for getting upset there for a second. Didn't mean to startle you, Zeb. Just, yes, I get the fact that kids aren't creative, and so the imaginary friends aren't going to be too creative. Yeah, my god, these are the laziest names I've ever seen. Even in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, there's more creativity. The most lazy name there is Blue, and at least it's spelled differently. Here, it's just the names of what they are. Only 2 of the imaginary friends get tons of screen time, the rest are side characters, which usually wouldn't be bad, yet there is a reason I set every character name. And that's because most of the voice acted cast are well-known people. Yet instead of using the talented cast, they give them maybe 2 or 3 lines, if not less. Some of these well-known voice actors, or actors in general, are Jon Stewart, Bill Hader, Amy Schumer, Maya Rudolph, Bradley Cooper, Matt Damon, and George freaking Clooney. I think you can see why I'm upset about this now. They get this amazing talent, and instead of giving them tons of lines and actual good characters, we get cookie-cutter bland characters that don't get much screen time. I feel legitimately bad for all the good voice actors. I also want to take a second to pay respects to Louis Gossett Jr. He was the voice actor for Louis, and he sadly died right before the movie came out. He was one of the more important imaginary friends in this movie, so I'm happy to say he at least went out with a bang. He voice acted the character beautifully. May he rest in peace. Out of all characters, my favorite is honestly either Louis or Bee's dad. Louis is just a nice character in general, and the screen time he gets is amazing. Bee's dad, while getting solo screen time, was able to gather so much attention when he was on the screen. Finally, onto the music. It's just nice music. There was at least one original song for the movie, I think. It's hard to remember, as I usually don't focus on the music. There was one song with great visuals. The rest was background music, which always tied the scene together, so it was just fine. We have reached the end now, dear viewers. Out of these 5 cards, this movie is meh. Hey, buddy, even if this movie was meh, I still want you around. You aren't meh, you're fun. I finished up the evaluation. You go relax. You did great, little guy. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. This movie is meh. Now, before I get absolutely obliterated for not liking this family movie, let me explain. The main drawback of this movie was the story and the characters for me. We barely got any story or any good characters, which really ruins the movie. I'm sure tons of kids will love this movie just by looking at all the bright and colorful things that happen in this movie. Speaking of that, I recommend this movie for kids 6 to 12. They would love to watch it and be interested in the imaginary friends. Sadly, though, it was hard to get me super interested. I was able to guess some plot points from the beginning, so it made the overall movie kind of mid. If you like this movie, though, that's great. I am just right down the middle. When the inevitability of the sequel comes out of the movie, I will watch that too. Until then, I'm gonna go polish Zad up. I'm logging off.